Here are, in my opinion, the 5 most egregious, controversial calls or no calls in sports history. You remember the Rams no call? Do you remember the Rams no call that robbed the Saints right here? That could not have been more pass interference. The referee is right there. He is right there. This was only a couple years ago. And I'm telling you right now, that guy right there is probably because the NFL, in the name of diversity, said, screw it, we're going to get rid of our guys that are good, and we're going to keep diverse. But it's arguably the worst non-call ever. Seriously. It was 2018, and everybody decided that, guess what? We're just going to let pass interference happen. This was late in the game. I can set it up for you. This is late in the game. This is Nickel Roby Coleman, and this is Tommy Lee Lewis. It's named the NOLA no call. Pass interference, next thing you know, no call, backlash, fans attempted to have the game replayed and boycott the Super Bowl. Robbie Coleman, the perpetrator, admitted it should have been called. Goodell determined that the no call was an act of human error by the referee and not enough to reverse it. The Rams, because there is karma, lost the Super Bowl. There you go. There was a new rule that allowed, in 2019, that allowed coaches to challenge pass interference. That rule was not retained after 2019. I was sitting watching that, as a lot of you were going, what? I was watching this game because actually Colorado in 1990 had some ass to them. They had some cachet. I remember this like it was yesterday. They're playing Missouri. The game it's late. Colorado is down, and something was fishy. First down, you usually have a sense. Second down, now there's not as many graphics and things on your television back then. Third down, hold on a second now. If they don't get this, they're going to have to punt. You won't believe this, but the truth of the matter is Colorado scored on a 5th down. A 5th down. Now, against Missouri. And Colorado ended up winning the national championship under Bill McCarthy, who started a thing called Promise Keepers, where a bunch of dudes that were screwing around on their wife used to go to big arenas, fill it, and act like they're good husbands. At least the guys that I knew that went to Promise Keepers did that kind of stuff. But they ended up winning the Rose Bowl, all right? No, they lost in the Rose Bowl to Notre Dame. But that's all right. Next thing you know, they won the national championship with that guy right there. You recognize the name Bieniemy? Eric Bieniemy was a stud running back, as was Rashaan Salam, who won the Heisman. The tuck rule, ladies and gentlemen, which I still don't understand. There have been 30 for 30s written on this thing, and I still don't understand it. I know we're supposed to understand it. I remember where I was in a bar at the bowling alley. I like to go to a bar in a bowling alley because my kids would bowl. The bar was owned by my friend Bill Wamas, and they had great cheeseburgers. So we had an event at Bowling Green, I believe, and that night we all went. We said, hey, bring the kids and let's go to the bowling alley. Well, we went. It was snowing. I remember distinctly thinking, wait a second. Hold on. Why do the Patriots still have the ball? It was a fumble. You know, when you sit in a bar, it was 2001. When you sit in a bar or a restaurant, it was kind of a bar and grill, and you're watching it, you go, I can't hear what's going on. What happened? Well, next thing you know, the tuck rule. Fourth quarter, Woodson tackles Brady. looks like a fumble. Greg Biker. The decision would have made a fumble. Oakland would have won. They reviewed it and determined that even though Brady had seemingly halted his pass and was attempting to tuck the ball into his body, it was an incomplete pass and not a fumble under the then effective NFL rules. As a result, the call was overturned. The ball was given back to the Patriots, moved into field goal range, and Vinatieri kicked the 45-yarder to win. I don't get it. I honestly don't get it. He dropped back, no receivers, pumped the ball. Brady was hit on the right side. Brady, while it was appeared he had tucked the ball towards his body, weren't sure, ruled it a fumble, reviewed the play. The tuck rule when offensive players holding the ball to pass it forward. Any intentional forward movement of his arm starts a forward pass. Even if the player loses possession of the ball, he's attempted to tuck it back towards his body. Also, if the player has tucked the ball into his body and losing, it's a fumble. Yeah, I don't know. I still don't know. I still think it was fixed, but Vinatieri had to hit the hardest field goal of his life. Michael Jordan pushing off Byron Russell and getting away with it. This particularly hurts my friend, Seth Greenberg, because he coached Byron Russell at Long Beach State. Jordan shoved off him, but here's the deal. If you're in a good defensive stance, if you're solid, you're square, and you're not off balance, you really can't get pushed off. Now, easy to say as I'm wearing my black shirt in mourning about the Cubs. Difficult to do when you're guarding the greatest player of all time, at least the greatest perimeter player of all time. I got to tell you. But I think he pushed off. Everybody thinks he pushed off. And you know the problem is? Here's the problem. It was at Utah. Think about it. I mean, everybody complains about home cooking. Home cooking this, home cooking that. They got home cooking. All right, well, guess what? They didn't get no home cooking then. Now, I just, for whatever the reason, I think Michael Jordan cooking beats home cooking. Does that make sense? I think it does. I do. I'm not going to lie. I think Michael Jordan cooking for years and years and years and years and years overcame anything that they were trying to get done. Anything. Anything. In Utah. All right, a couple years ago, and this makes me sad, Jim Joyce was an umpire that had that famous Jeffrey Meyer, you know what I mean? Jeffrey Meyer over the top, home run, and he ruled it a home run and whatever else he did. All right. Well, Jim Joyce was also, and he's a good dude. Jim Joyce is from Toledo, and Toledo dudes are good dudes. And everybody that I know that knows Jim Joyce knows that he is a really, really good dude. But Jim Joyce blew a call. Jim Joyce blew a call that I guarantee you he wishes he had over. Here's the call. Obviously out, and it ain't close. It ain't close. I'm sorry, it ain't close. And Jim Joyce, as they say in the big leagues, kicked it. He kicked it. And this was before, ladies and gentlemen, this was before replay. It ain't close. The ball is in Galarraga's hands. This would have been a perfect game, and Joyce missed it from me to you. There he is. Leland came out. Leland got psychotic. Leland is from the same area that Joyce is. He's from Perrysburg, Ohio. Joyce is from Toledo. Literally 5 minutes from each other. And he couldn't have missed it worse, costing a no-hitter/perfect game. And I got to tell you, I'm watching it right here. It wasn't even close. Now, every team, every player, every guy's got a bad call. Mine is referees did this. You remember back in 2001, Wally Zerbiak and Miami of Ohio made a hell of a run to the Sweet 16? Well, my Bowling Green team beat them last regular season game. We beat them at home. We played them in the semifinals of the MAC tournament. We were on like an 8-game winning, some kind of winning streak. We're playing Zerbiak. We're up 1. We got the ball. under 40 seconds to go. It was more than the shot clock. We got the ball down there. I look, and I tell my player, I told my post kid X, which means I'm looking at him. I want these two guys to cross. I want my post player, Anthony Stacy, with the ball in the right block. I'm not looking at the ball handler. No one's pressuring him. There's no reason to look. I told Stacy and another kid, I think it was Lenny Matella, X, we're going to put X, put him over there. Whistle blows. Boom. 10 count. No pressure on my guy. He brought it up too slow. Long story short, Damian Frierson scores. We miss a shot. We don't go to the tournament. Zerbiak goes to the tournament, and they get to the Sweet 16. And then I watched the film. I couldn't wait. I watched the film. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 count. I call the head of officials, Eric Harmon. He comes to my office with my AD and the assistant commissioner of the MAC. I show him the film. I MF everybody within an inch of my life. But every coach has a story like that. Every coach has something like that. Every coach. So the worst call ever. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. The fix was in. Zerbiak was handsome. Yeah, that's right.